A car ought to walk. I pray this devil die and get every evil thing the Lord got to give. And listen, I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Come here, SHALAM. Come here, SHALAM. I know you look at us in the state we in right now. Black people on drugs, and we suffering and dying. And I know it seems like you can do whatever you want to this people. I know it seems like this, but the time for glorifying yourself is soon at an end.
All right, Shalom. Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge here in the state of Virginia. We'll talk about the effects. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakathum, Yahweh Shema Alabah Shem Yahweh Shai, Lord of Christ. To the brothers and the sisters, we here in the state of Virginia, Newport News, you understand, Norfolk, Richmond, all over Virginia, Woodbridge, you contact the school. We're here to teach our people that integration and gentrification, these things is against the Lord. They have very horrible, very negative side effects, consequences. The Lord told our people never to integrate. This is absolutely against the Most High. We're going to show you integration in the Bible and how it absolutely destroyed our people and how the Lord has been against it. The Christian church does not teach our people how destructive it was for us to integrate, how destructive it was to teach our sons and daughters to become a part of America, a part of our oppressor society, and how no other race of people does that in America. They wasn't talking about what is the Chinese vote, the Arab vote, the African vote. They weren't campaigning to get them to vote. They were campaigning to get you to vote. Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the food that all of these other nations are going to eat so that they can thrive and survive in America. The only people who are not the Americans, which are white people, that are so concerned with being a part of the white man's empire and his government and his politics, and the people who are absolutely on the bottom and reap none of the benefits of Obama being in office, of Trump being in office, of anybody being in office, Biden, Harris, like the Lord intended for us to be separate, which is holy. And we're going to get it here in these scriptures, man. We're going to start here with Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. I'm going to read that. Then we're going to show you in the Maccabees, you understand? Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 2. The Lord is talking to the children of Israel. Deuteronomy, these are the laws, you understand? The Lord gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to live by that Christian preachers teach us we don't have to follow at all to this very day. And it's causing our destruction, and it destroyed our cities. It destroyed Richmond and Chesapeake and Newport News and Hampton and Virginia Beach and Norfolk and Baltimore and Philly and Detroit and Chicago and DC and Oakland. It destroyed our cities, man. It turned us into absolute animals. It ruined our families. It ruined the relationship and love that brothers had for each other. It ruined our marriages. It destroyed our kids, all because we did something the Lord told us never to do, man. The Lord told us never to do that. We're going to get it in the scriptures. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 2 says, and when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee. These were instructions we were getting coming out of Egypt. The Lord was prepping us. This is very black. Just like you getting ready to go to the grocery store and your mama, or you getting ready to go to somebody's house and your mama, your aunt, or your grandma would tell you in the car, you'd start to do what? You'd get instructions before you got in here. Now listen, don't act like you ain't ate all day. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't touch anything. You be on your behavior. Don't embarrass me in here. This is what the Lord is saying. The Lord is giving his black, Hispanic, and Native American, his children, instructions on how to behave before we go into this land, which was the promised land, which was our homeland that Adam and his sons lived in before these heathen moved into our land, that Abraham lived before there was a famine in the land of Canaan and we had to move into Egypt, and we were slavery under the Egyptians for 300, 400 years, man. The Lord said, and when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. He said, you're going to hit them. You're going to destroy and wipe these people out, not make a covenant with them, not be friends and love them. At that time, these were instructions the Lord gave to physically wipe out these other nations of people living in our land. Wipe them out and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Not singing and holding hands and joining them and seeing the beauty of their culture, and trying to get to know and see life from their perspective. Nobody does that. Your oppressor is not trying to see life from the nigger perspective, from the Hispanic, the Native American perspective. He don't give a damn that child support is ruining your life. He don't care that you're not getting paid any money. You can't live off of your damn minimum wage. He don't care that you need that apartment in Tidewater Gardens, that you can only afford to live on St. Paul's Boulevard. He don't give a damn that Newport News rent is at a level you can't afford, that you can't afford to have him gentrify Virginia Beach. He don't give a damn. The Lord was telling us the way that how the world actually functions. And you don't realize it because you've been listening to Christian preachers instead of a man of God that he appointed, which is only in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohanna, man. He says, thou shalt make no marriages with them, meaning you're not supposed to lay down and have sex with them, make a friendship with them, take their culture, take their religions, join their military. America's military is for white men. It's not for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You in a grave violation joining your oppressor's military, his government, his police force, running for office and mayor. These things is against the Lord. A black man does nothing for black people. Kenny Alexander's in charge of Norfolk. Have you been able to keep your black houses in Norfolk? Did not your apartment complex get shut down in Norfolk, in Virginia Beach, in Portsmouth, in where else there's a black man? Philly, New Orleans, DC, Baltimore. Did that make the city safe? Absolutely not, man. Because the Lord said, don't take their culture. You understand? It said, make thou marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter thou shalt take unto thy son. That's against the Lord. The Lord is absolutely against this. This is integration. This is all lives matter. All of this is against the Lord, man. Why did he say that? Verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. That because you join another nation of people, now you're going to become a Muslim. You're going to become a Christian. You're going to become a Democrat and Republican. You're going to become a weed-smoking drug addict, which is the worship of the Hindu goddess Shiva. That blunt, that white owl, that backwards you smoking, full of gas and loud, that is the worship of a god. You're not serving the God of the Bible and smoking weed. You serving the Hindu god Shiva. You understand? Not the God of the Bible. You voting, you serving the Egyptians' culture, the Romans' culture, not the God of the Bible. You eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. You're not serving the God of the Bible. You against the Most High. Homosexuality, that's Greco-Roman culture they got from the Egyptians. Killing your baby, that's Egyptian culture. Heathen Babylonian culture. Sacrificing your infants, man. That's against the Lord. All right? So the Lord said, you're going to turn your son away from following me, that they may serve other gods. That's why our people are now. That's why your son worships the God of being a drug dealer, the Percocets, the heroin, the cocaine, the weed, the God of voting. You understand? Worshiping the God of Saturnalia for your Halloween, your Samhain, or your Samhain. You understand? Worshiping the murder of our Native American brothers, man, with your Thanksgiving celebration. Worshiping Nimrod with your Christmas celebration. It's got nothing to do with Jesus Christ, who was born in the spring. You understand? That's why the Lord said, don't integrate. We're going to show you the consequences of it too. The scripture said, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Meaning the Lord's anger is going to destroy us for joining another nation of people, and you're going to see it in the Bible, man. All right? Got priest and officer Yarash Moth in here with me as well. You understand? Shalom. I'm going to break it down to these scriptures, man. All right? Verse 6 says, for thou, this is the reason why. For you art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. The Most High thy power, meaning the Lord thy God, not everybody's God, your God, the God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the God of the barrio and the reservation and the hood and the projects and the slums and the trap. You understand? That's the God we supposed to serve, not the God of my country, Chisavy, not the God of Rome and the Roman Catholics. You understand? Not the God of the crown of England, not the God of the Portuguese and the Dutch and Spain and French and the crown, not the God of the Africans who sold us into slavery, or the God of the Arabs who cut the testicles off of young black men so that they can watch the brothels of all the sisters they was raping during slavery, thanks to the Africans selling us to them. We're not supposed to take their gods, man. That's against the Lord. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. That's why you run the fastest. That's why you jump the highest. That's why you dance the best. That's why they go in the ghetto and find the top athletes, the top entertainers on the planet, the top inventors. You understand? Yo, Maylou Jemisin's, man. The first supercomputer was a black woman, her mind. The GPS come from a black woman. You understand? The black man, the refrigerator, the fountain pen, the freezer, the pacemaker, the ICBM computer. You understand? The stove, the heater, potato chips, fried chicken, cakes, pies. All of this comes from our people. Domesticating horses, blood types, teaching people that they should wash and bathe every day. That's Israelite culture. That come from us, man. All people are not equal, man. The Lord made one people special, and you cheapen and you destroy yourself by joining the culture of another race of people, man. That's against the Lord. All right? The Lord said he made one people special unto himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth. Meaning, if it's a people that's on the planet, God made one people better than all of the other people that he made. You understand? Everybody is not equal. That Chinese, African, Arab, East Indian, them Hawaiians, they not equal to blacks and Hispanics, man. They're not equal in the boxing ring. They're not equal in track and field. They're not equal in inventions. They're not equal in swimming. They're not equal in anything. You understand? That's why they have to flood drugs and destroy our community and gentrify our community. And that's why it's so evil these black leaders is telling us to join them, while they literally drain the blood, the very essence that we need to survive from our people, including the organs of our dead babies that they telling us to abort, man. Literally taking the fetus cells and everything and selling the body parts of our people, even in addition to being in slavery, man. That's against the Lord. All right? Now, we're going to get verse 10, where the Lord is explaining there. You understand? In verse 10, Deuteronomy 7 and 10 said this. If you don't want to obey the Lord, you understand? He said, and repay of them that hate him to their face. Meaning, if you hate the Lord and you want to integrate when the Lord said to be separate, and you want to be a part of America's government when the Lord said never make a covenant with another race of people, and you want to have sex with white women like Martin Luther King and Terrence Howard, you understand, and young Jeezy having sex with Maylene, you want to go and be with these other nations of people like Venus and Serena Williams, like Eve, you want to go have sex with your slave master and marry them like Tiger Woods and jump into bed with them. The Lord said he's going to repay them. Even we getting repaid for following Martin Luther King right now to their face. The Lord going to repay black people to their face for putting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in office, just like he repayed black people to their face by putting Barack Obama in office. That's why the projects got shut down. Barack Obama did it. That's why the AIDS rate soared, as he supported the LGBT community that none of the previous presidents would support and give rights to. Your president that you put in office did that. Now, the AIDS rate shot through the roof in the young black homosexual and Hispanic homosexual communities amongst black men and women. Thanks to the president you put in office, because the Lord said to be separate. The Lord said he's going to repay us to our face. You understand? To destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. The Lord said he's going to repay our people to their face. That's what's coming, man. All right? That's what's coming. We gonna get some more how this happened, man. Urash, you in there, Urash? All right.
Khan. Salaki, it was muted. Khan.
Nah, no sweat. We gonna go now and get this story here. We gonna go to First Maccabees. Remember those scriptures that I had, First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11.
Khan. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
The Lord said there were wicked men in Israel, wicked leaders amongst blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. God said these leaders were wicked. What made them wicked? What made God call them wicked? Let's see. Keep going.
Who persuaded many.
They persuaded. How did they persuade? They told you to get out and vote. They told you to accept the LGBT community. T.D. Jakes told you that the church has to evolve to move past, not being accepting of homosexuality. The church has to evolve. They told a woman that she was loose from her man and that she could be in charge. And now you in cities with your son shooting everybody that you can't control, with your daughter getting everybody running trains on her, getting pregnant by everybody, killing the babies, having abortions, and dying that you can't control. Because these leaders persuaded. The Lord called them wicked men. You understand? That's how your son got coke to sell. That's how he got weed and pills and Percocets. Reverend Al Sharpton, these wicked men spiritually is right here in the scriptures, man. The Bible says nothing new under the sun. Let's get some more, please.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Saying, let's make a covenant. This is who told you. Let us make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. That's what Martin Luther King told us to do. That's how your son became a Muslim. That's a covenant with the heathen. The Lord said, don't make a covenant with another nation of people. You join Islam, thanks to Malcolm X, thanks to Elijah Muhammad. You join the heathen that was around you that should have never had any stability inside of your black community. Well, now the Arabs own more of the black community than you. Now DJ Khaled, he's going to have his career. French Montana, his career going to skyrocket. Eminem, his career going to skyrocket off of your black music, off of your jazz, your rhythm and blues, your folk. All of those things come from black people. But you made a covenant with the heathen, and now they're going to feed off of you. That's why it's Chinese carryouts in your community. Because there's a deal that's been made by your black leaders with them. Had you obeyed the Lord, and if you get in the I.S.U.P.K and turn back to the Lord, we'll have black cities where black and Hispanics own everything. Won't be no Chinese in our neighborhood. Won't be Chinese and Arab and East Indian businesses. Won't be churches where all the kids get molested, because that's Greco-Roman culture. That's Egyptian culture. You understand? Won't be none of that. But this wicked men the Lord is talking about, that's why we have it here in our community. Keep going.
Come. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
They saying since we departed from our slave masters, we've had much sorrow. Your black leaders didn't like the fact you had Black Wall Street. They didn't like Tulsa, Oklahoma. They didn't like Rosewood, Florida, where it's all black town, where there was no white whores to have sex with. Martin Luther King didn't like that. Ralph Abernathy didn't like that, where you didn't accept homosexuality, where you didn't accept smoking weed and getting high, because these wicked men like to have sex with children and little boys, you understand, and little girls like Eddie Long and Elijah Muhammad, just like Muhammad did. They didn't like the fact that it was unacceptable for them to be an effeminate man. That's why they had to start the down low in the Christian church, because the white man's culture of Christianity allows a man to be feminine and weak and soft and a child molester and weak under his woman and telling the woman that her and the man is equal. That's the culture that we chose, and it ruined our people. Keep going.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
Displeased the wicked men. Displeased your preachers. your Al Sharpton, your T.D. Jakes, your Jesse Jacksons. Just kill me. Black people talk about unity and unity, and then everybody allegedly serving the same God, right, Garage? They talk about this unity, and then everybody go to 1 million churches on the same goddamn street.
Right.
You understand? In D.C., there's a street called Sheriff Road. Sheriff Road, next to Sheriff Road, you got Eastern Avenue, which is your border between Maryland and D.C. They got a street called Sheriff Road. Sheriff Road got probably about 15 churches on it. And all these churches talking about we love God, we serve the same God. Everybody got their own leader. Talking about we got to unite. How the hell you going to unite? Everybody got their own leader, their own belief, their own way. Like the most ununited place on the entire planet is the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Nobody believes the same thing. No one. You understand? That comes with us joining these heathen that are around us. The Lord didn't give us a choice to believe in something else. He gave us a choice to love your brother as yourself. You can't sell drugs to him. You can't murder him. You can't molest his kids. You can't have sex with his woman. And he won't do that to you either. You understand? That's brotherhood. But they wanted wickedness. So let's get some more. Keep going.
Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein.
Martin Luther King, some of the people were forward. They know God has a law against integration. They know the Lord made our people to be separate. They know the Lord don't want all people to come together. But they so wicked. They so forward. Meaning they don't want anybody to tell them what to do. I'm me. I'm my own man. I don't follow a man. I'm an individual. I got personal salvation. I got a personal relationship with God and Jesus. You can't tell, not my God. God talked to me directly. Everybody do whatever the hell they want. That's what's written here in the scriptures. That's the same way the Black community is right now. And that's why your sons is shooting and killing each other. That's why your daughters is aborting your grandbabies. That's why brothers and sisters is getting thrown out on the street right now. That's why we can't find jobs. That's why the Koreans, the Africans, the Asians, the Chinese, that's why white people is in the ghetto flipping your house right now, turning Tidewater Gardens apartments, preparing to make them condos right now, all up and down St. Paul's Boulevard right now, preparing for Richmond condos right now, Virginia Beach right now. That's what you wanted, man. This was your vote. That's how forward our people have been following these wicked men. Keep going.
That they went to the king.
They went to the king. They went to Pharaoh, the president, the ruler, the leader, the heathen that was in charge over us, the head white man. You understand? We were still on our own at this time, but they went and made a deal with the white man. That's what Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton did. That's what Martin Luther King did. That's what your black leaders did. That's what your Christian preachers do. They got to deal with the white man, that they will teach you to be wicked and sin against the Lord so that the white man will stay in power while you believe you are part of America, even though they gunning black men down on the street left and right and nobody going to jail for it. Except your son, when he killed another young black man, he's going to go to jail. He's going to jail. You understand? They choke a black man to death, shoot him in his face a couple of times. I was in fear for my life. Let me get another job at a new precinct, in another district a couple of miles away. It's all right. It happens. That's what your wicked leaders settle for. That's what they accept. The man of GEN.YAHANNA don't accept no nonsense like that. You understand? Right. Keep going.
Who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen? What are the ordinance of the heathen? Your gay marriage, your LGBT rights, your rights for a man to wear a dress like Medea, who's a ordained and licensed minister, Tyler Perry, trans dressing up like a man dressing up like a woman dressing up like a man. You understand? Two women marrying each other, two men marrying each other, having sex with the kids and nobody say anything about it. All your preachers and grandmas and aunts is covering it up. Everybody know about it. Then they act like you crazy once you strung out on drugs, trying to get the molestation out of your mind that had happened to you. This is a part of joining the heathen. That's their culture. That's what the Greeks did. That's what the samurais did. That's what the Africans did. This is their culture. You understand? That's what the Pope does, touching little boys and girls. This is their culture, man. The Lord told us never take the culture of another people. But these wicked leaders like Martin Luther King, they told us. And here we are still in this mess to this day. You understand? All right, take me to verse 15.
Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised.
Meaning we made ourselves against the Lord, made ourselves filthy to the Lord. We took the covering and protection of knowing what God requires in order so that he can protect us. We took the covering, the spiritual covering of his law, statutes, and commandments. You don't realize if you stop eating pork, that the Lord would protect you. If we did not teach our sons and daughters to have birthday parties and Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's, that the Lord would not allow someone to kill our children. Like our children would not be getting kidnapped and molested if you would stop going to church where they teach you to sin against the Lord. We don't realize that. There's a direct correlation to all of the evil happening in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community and us being Christians and Muslims and taking customs and cultures of other nations of people that the Lord told us never to join. You don't realize there's a correlation there because you following the wicked men that the Lord did not set up. You understand? Keep going.
And forsook the holy covenant.
Meaning they forsake the covenants, man. They threw them laws away. They don't want to hear about not eating pork because your oppressor said it's the other white meat. You can't judge. You can't judge. Isn't that what they say, Raj? Christians say you can't judge. But when they killed Breonna Taylor, all of a sudden you want judgment now. When Ahmaud Arbery got gunned down in the streets in Atlanta, you wanted judgment. When Rayshard Brooks got murdered by the police in Atlanta, you wanted judgment. When Tamir Rice got murdered in Ohio, you wanted judgment. When Eric Garner got choked to death by the NYPD, you wanted judgment. When Michael Brown got killed in Ferguson, you want judgment all of a sudden. But when the Lord say, don't be a child molester, don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, don't be a homosexual, don't vote Christ out of office, Chuden, Biden, and Harris. When the Lord say a woman cannot rule over a man, that you should not be in Islam praying to the God of the Arabs, that you should not be following the traditions and customs of the Africans, who the Lord set us against, made us different from. When the Lord say that, now you say, well, don't judge. We don't want judgment. But when some evil happened to you, all of a sudden you want the Lord, you want some judgment, which is absolutely foolish and is hypocritical, and it's why the Lord is not stepping up to protect our people. You don't realize that because you're listening to these wicked men, man. Every leader that stand up and appoint themselves over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they are not the men that the Lord set up. All of your religious leaders, all of your fake Israelite leaders, they are wicked men. Everyone in charge of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, none of them are the men that the Lord appointed. They're all appointed by men who are not the men that God set up. Your community must be ruled by men of the Lord. You can't vote your leaders into office. You can't cry enough, sing enough, beg enough, dance enough, throw enough money at it to fix the problem. You and your people belong to the Lord. The Lord has a specific way that you have to live your life, and you have never been taught how to live that way outside of the I.S.U.P.K. You cannot learn. You understand? To keep going, Brother Kishore.
And joined themselves to the heathen.
All lives matter. They did what?
And joined themselves to the heathen.
Rainbow Push Coalition. They did what?
Joined themselves to the heathen.
Interracial marriages. Now black people are Muslims. Now blacks and Hispanics are Democrats and Republicans. Now you selling dope like the white man. You a gangster like the Italian mafia. You snorting coke and doing LSD and smoking weed like the hippies. Now you dressing like white homosexual, transsexual models in Europe, which is your men in skin-tight jeans, women dressing like men in baggy pants. You dressing like prostitutes. You got tights on, showing your drawers through your outfit. More of your breasts is outside of your clothes than inside of your clothes. You're having sex with everybody like Sex in the City and Playboy and Marilyn Monroe and Eyes Wide Shut. You're doing everything just like the heathen around you. That's why the Lord is repaying us to our face with the AIDS from being a lesbian and homosexual, the herpes and gonorrhea and chlamydia and syphilis, the life in prison for being a gangster. You understand? For accepting integration, your son is a murderer now because he wants to live like the Italian mafia. Because you love America and Martin Luther King and voting and integration, your son is more serious about being an American. So he want to commit a murder because that's American culture. That's what Americans did to the Native Americans. That's why they're on reservations. That's what they did to the buffalo. That's how they took Texas and California from the Mexicans. They murdered them. That's how black people worked in the cotton fields, picking cotton and tobacco and building America's economy, building up Wall Street and the insurance company. They murdered us. That's what it means to be an American. And as long as you love America and salute the flag and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, in my country, 'tis of thee, cast your vote, you are following the wicked men, and you are telling the Lord not to protect your sons and daughters, not to protect your mothers and fathers, not to protect your family. You're telling the Lord you don't want his protection. If you do, you should get in the I.S.U.P.K and stop following the wicked men that rule the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community.
I'm not letting nobody tell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works something.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs. I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good record. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.